welcome to Storytime with Kitara. Welcome to Storytime with me. If you already haven't subscribed, please subscribe so that you can get to know me through my stories, so that you can learn something from my stories. Please like, share, and comment. Share your experience just in case you relate with my stories, and just comment. Okay, so normally as human beings, we prefer our own space, right? And our own peace. And well, you just don't want drama from people, because already even just living with your own people, I mean your relatives, is hard enough. So for me, my wish was always, when I'm done with school, I should find a job and I should live all on my own, right? But you know how funny life is also. Like, life is just funny. You make your own plans, but life has its own plans for you, right? So quite alright, you've managed, all on your own out there, right? But because of finances, you can't find a house of your own because it's too expensive, right? So you start from somewhere. So I ended up finding housemates. I ended up living with housemates. Housemates sent from hell. Please pardon my lighting, guys. It's going to be fluctuating because the weather of late, it's usually cloudy. So if I start to look gray, just know that there's a cloud over the sun. And if I start, to bling and shine, so anyways, pardon my lighting, guys. Don't get me wrong, we have different personalities because we come from different backgrounds, right? That is very understandable. But where someone behaves in a certain way that is just crazy, that is not understandable and it is not acceptable at all. So before I get into the housemates sent from hell story, I'm gonna talk about the good housemates that I had. So it was 2018. I managed to find a boarding house, and this boarding house was a very fancy boarding house. I don't know how I can describe it to you, but it wasn't a regular boarding house that you would find in Zambia. It was more of apartments. It was very fancy. Had air cons and all that you get. I wanted my own room, but I was told there was no vacant room, and if there was any, they were going to let me know in the future. So I ended up, like being in a room where there were 4 people. It had 2 banker beds. I just wanted to be on my own because at this point I had just reached a point where I just wanted to be on my own. Like I just want to have drama with my blankets and my pots and not with people. Although me living with strangers wasn't new to me because I was in boarding school for 5 years and I used to live with strangers like every year. It wasn't like, I'm living with strangers. And I'm the type who easily adapts to situations or environments or people. This is a very good quality for me because even when it comes to work, I'm not the type who would whine. Like if you just told me today to say, you're moving to this department, I'll just be like, oh, okay, fine. Or you're going to work in this town now. You have to shift as soon as possible. I'll just be like, oh, okay. I'm a universal girl. Do you guys know universal chargers? That's the type of person I am. So these housemates were very good people, trust me. There was never a day when there was any drama or we ever argued. Nothing. They were very good people. We got along just fine. Although the girls that I was living with, some of them moved out, then new people came in. But there was a girl that remained. This girl was very touchy. Like, who say she was a thief? She was a thief because if you get something without my permission, then you're stealing, right? She was a thief, yes. So this girl, okay, have you guys ever had a mate? Because I'm not going to call her my friend. She wasn't my friend. She was just a mate, honestly speaking. I didn't want to like make friends there, so they were just my mates. I used to hang out with them. We used to joke, we used to laugh, we used to hang out, we used to eat together sometimes, but I didn't want to, like put a name on it, like, yeah, my friend. No, they were just my mates. So have you guys ever had mates or friends who are this way? Like, since they know she's my mate, they start getting too familiar with you. This girl, when I go to work, she would open my locker and she would get whatever she wants. Is it cornflakes? Is it spices? In the fridge, she would get my tomatoes, she would get my onions, which was very annoying for me and very stressful because at the time, okay, I was, let me not say I wasn't earning much, but we always work with budgets. You budget for something. You know that some people who would use up something that you would use within a week, they would use it the same day. So that was frustrating for me because I had made a budget. Okay, I make a budget, I say, you know what, these tomatoes will last me the whole week, and then you find someone has used your tomatoes. Or the same example I'm giving about cereal, because for me cornflakes used to last me the whole month. So now here's two people eating my cornflakes, okay, which is annoying because you've made a budget. Okay, you just don't spend. You also want to save. And anyways, it's just not all about saving. Maybe you just want to use the money for something else. Okay, so that was annoying for me at first. I thought about it. I was like, anyways, she's my mate, let me just let this go. But it was getting too much. Like my things were getting used up before their time. Like I'm talking about budgeting, right? And then the other housemate, the new one that moved in, she also started complaining to say, you know what, my things have been reducing and all that. And then I told her to say, same with me. I feel like it's this girl. So I told her, let's approach her, but she laughed about it. She was like, eh. So this housemate was like, no, I'm scared. Like, I don't want to approach her. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll approach her on on your behalf. Like, I'll approach her for the both of us. Because you guys, like I even told her to say, you guys are getting support and I'm not. I'm practically sustaining myself. So I approached her in a good way though. I told her, if you need something, you ask from me. You just don't open my locker. You just don't open the fridge and use up my things. I work with a budget. I'm sustaining myself. I'm not getting any support from anyone else. I'm sustaining myself. You are getting support from your parents. You just have to cry and say, Mom, my food is done, and they'll send you money. For me, when my food is done, I have to wait for my pay, my next pay. And this girl became defensive and she denied it and she was like, I'm not the one who gets your things. I was like, oh, you're not the one who gets my things. And she said to call me complicated, like, you're complicated. And I'm like, please, do not call me complicated over my own things. I have to be anyway. And there's no way you can call me complicated when you've been getting my things without permission, because that is stealing. You are the one who's complicated, because she was saying you're complicated. Like at the end of it, she ended up like accepting it a bit after denying. She was like, you're complicated, like just getting something and you are, stressing about it. It's not even a big issue. I can replace it. I'm like, okay, fine. So this whole time when you've been using my things, why didn't you replace them? So anyways, away from that, I ended up aligning her. I told her, yo, don't touch my things, okay? Use your own things. And I just started working on, like I had said in the beginning, this fancy boarding house apartment place had also like single rooms. So I asked the manager, like, is there a single room now? And boom, there was a single room actually. So that's how I sorted out that issue. And then from there, that was 2022 when I quit my work. So finances became a challenge and I had to look for a housemate, okay? Because I had to pay bills. Okay, the thing is, I would have managed to live alone only if, because I was paying rentals like 2 months in advance. So at least if I was just paying maybe a month in advance, if I was paying monthly, I think I would have managed. But the 2 months in advance was too much of a stretch for me. So I started looking for a housemate. I advertised online and this girl responds, a Zimbabwean lady. So before I brought in the housemate, I actually informed the landlord because I didn't want issues. But since I really needed to save myself and find an accommodation in my country in Lusaka is not easy. It's not easy. The only easiest accommodation you would find is a boarding house, and I was too grown for that. I told myself I can't start living in boarding houses again. Like I'm too grown for that. But I tried looking like for a house that was cheaper than where I was, but I couldn't find anything. So I told the landlord to say, my cousin is coming to live with me. And he was like, oh, okay. He wasn't for the idea at first, but I told him to say, are you trying to tell me, because I was living in a two-bedroom house, are you trying to tell me I can't live with my family here? Why? I actually lived there for a year, but when I moved there, I actually told him to say, it's rough. But when I moved there, one of my cousins was supposed to come live with me. So I told him to say, I actually even told you when I moved here to say, actually, my cousins will come live with me. But something came up and they didn't. So now this cousin is coming. So what are you saying? I have the right to live with my own family. So I argued about that and it was just like, well, fine. So this Zimbabwean lady, okay, a lot of people responded to my post online, but I was interviewing them. I actually preferred that I interviewed them in person, but most of them couldn't manage. So I was just interviewing them online and I was cutting them out. I was just like, this one no, this one no. Until this Zimbabwean lady like responded and I interviewed her and she seemed like a cool person and she was a cool person. She actually moved in with me. She was a very cool person, very good person, very calm, very chilled, very nice Zimbabwean lady. She actually begged me like the thing is she was in school here in Zambia, but she went back home because she was on recess. She begged me like, please, I don't wanna like go back to the boarding house. Please keep the space for me. So I told her, okay, fine, I'm gonna keep, but I just can't keep the space for you because you know how people are. Like they'll promise you to say, keep this for me, I can purchase it or I'll move in, and then they don't move in. And I needed a housemate like ASAP. So I told her, you have to pay in advance. Like you can trust me, and and usually when someone tells you you can trust me, it even becomes more suspicious because that's how scammers are sometimes. They'll tell you like you can trust me, but I told her you can trust me. Like you can pay in advance, you can trust me. I gave her directions. I told her this is where I stay. Okay, I've forgotten what I told her honestly, but I just remember telling her like where I stay, which is also like not helpful telling someone where you stay because if I was a scammer, it wouldn't have helped her in any way. But I just convinced her and assured her that you can trust me. I told her I had to pay because if I keep it for you and you don't come through, that will inconvenience me. So she actually paid. Then I kept the space for her. She moved in. She was a very good person. Like we got along very well. I told her, please be free with me because she was very, very reserved. She was very, very reserved. I told her, please be free with me. Like you and me are living together. We're practically a family, and that's just how we'll manage like to live well with each other. If we take each other that way and not as strangers. But I wanted her to do whatever she wanted. If she didn't want to be, like free with me, but I wanted her to be free with me. Like just be free with me. Like when it comes to talking, yeah. So she actually became free with me, and we lived like very well. I don't know what she thought, but I felt like we lived very well with each other. Yeah, but we used to eat separately because I didn't want any issues. You know, yeah, we used to eat separately. But anything else we used to do together, she was very reserved, trust me. She would always lock herself up in the bedroom and I would always invite her. Like, let's hang out, let's chat, like let's share stories. We would hang out with each other just at home. And there was a time we also like went out to a drinking place and we had fun. This girl she was a very good person. The only thing or the only person who used to influence her to be I don't know if I can say a bad person, is her boyfriend. That man was shady because she told me shady stuff about him. I'm not gonna say the shady stuff, but this man was shady, the kind of work he used to do. And I felt like he was very controlling. He was a very controlling boyfriend. Trust me, my housemate never used to go out. He used to refuse her. If she's going out, he would always be on a video call, like seeing what she's doing. There was a time when we hung out together and she was like, no, I'm with Kat, and he was like, I need to see that you're with her because I don't know what trust issues he had, but he was very controlling. I don't even know how to describe it, but he was a very controlling person, even like controlling how to dress and all that. Yeah, and she also told me she shared something to say she used to give him money to save for her. I was like, girl, this guy is shady already. How do you know the money you're giving him, he's saving it? I actually advised her to open a bank account, a savings account, where she would be saving the money herself. Because she also told me to say this guy was stingy, like he never ever used to help her in any way or even buying her gifts. I was like, girl. So what happened for us to separate is because of the boyfriend. What happened is there was a time because she was in school. There was a time when she was at school, so she tells me my boyfriend is coming over. He's bringing something. Please open the door for him. So I'm like, okay, not a problem. So I'm waiting for the boyfriend because I actually had an interview that day, although it was an online interview. Was it online or I was supposed to go? No, 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 no. It wasn't an online interview. I had an interview that day, but it was late in the afternoon. So I was like, okay, just ensure he comes before my interview. So I'm waiting for the boyfriend. I'm actually, because I usually do prepare for interviews. I just don't go there like boom. And I am an organized person. I just don't go there. But there's sometimes when I feel like this position I can wing it. Like I'll just answer the questions and wing it. But I usually prepare for interviews. So I'm preparing for interviews and waiting for this boyfriend. So I hear the door open. Actually the door was locked, like with a key. It was locked with a key, but I hear the door open. And there was a key inside the door. So I was like, okay, but why did this girl ask me to open for her boyfriend if she gave him the keys? So the other thing is, I was wondering, like, can he see the key inside? Because if you insert a key and if there's already a key, it's either the door won't open or the key will drop inside, then you open with your key from outside. So the door opens and I'm like, why? So I come out. I came out of the bedroom because I was trying to be polite. I am a polite person anyway. So I came out of my bedroom and this person looked shocked, like he wasn't expecting me to be home. He looked shocked, so I greeted him. And he was way older than us. This girl was only 25 and this man was 43. So I just respected him like that because it was my housemate's boyfriend and he was way older than us. Like, Mr. Shanishani, how are you? Good morning. I think that was afternoon, I don't know. But how are you? I'm fine. She actually told me you are coming. Yeah, I just brought her things. So I didn't want to ask him about him opening the door because I assumed he used my housemate's key. So when he left, I texted her. I was like, yo, why did you tell me to open for your boyfriend when you actually gave him the key? Because we both had keys. So I was like, I didn't give him any key. So I was like, what the hell? You didn't give your boyfriend the, so how did he open the door? Then she was like, he opens the door. I did not open the door. I found the door open situation. So now that was scary for me. I went to the door to check, like, how did he open if he didn't have the key? So for some of you that have opened a door before, like using a knife or a screwdriver, usually the lock in the door doesn't like go, it doesn't like go all the way inside the lock. The lock, that car box like thingy, it usually like remains, I don't know how to describe it, but for you that have opened the door without using a key, you know what I'm talking about. So I went to check the door and that's what I found. The lock wasn't all the way inside the handle. It looked like, not it looked like, it had been tampered with. So I took a picture and I sent it to her to say, look, you ask your boyfriend, what did he use to open the door if you didn't give him the key? Later, manipulators would always make you think you are the one who's in the wrong. But I'm not saying my husband was a manipulator. I feel like her boyfriend was. So he was like putting thoughts in her head. And I think he's the one who told her like to move out. So I just told her, okay, fine. I respect your decision, but I feel like you shouldn't even have moved out. because I'm okay with you. The only person I'm not okay with is your boyfriend. So as ladies and being dumb and choosing our boyfriends, it's not good. Like to choose a man over your relative or your friend or something like that. It's just not wise. But that's what she did, and I respected her decision. I was like, okay, you want to move out, fine. So I ended up now looking for other housemates, and this time I only needed one housemate, but one of the housemates that I found said she was in school and she couldn't manage, like she could manage, but she needed to spare some money for school. So she said we should look for a third person. And I was like, whoa, having two people, having three people in this house. I was like, okay, fine. You know what? I have no choice because my finances are bad and I have no choice. So we ended up, this girl, she ended up moving in, the new housemate, and she was a very good person. And the other one wasn't a cool person, who the story is based on, the housemate sent from hell, is the third person who moved in with us. So what I did is I re-advertised again online, saying I was looking for a housemate, and I had put requirements because my experience with the other housemate who had a bad boyfriend, a shady boyfriend, I was like, maybe we clashed because she was younger than me and I was older, so that age thing, I was like, maybe she couldn't reason at the time because she was young. Mostly people would say, yo, you're just 3 years older than me, but yo, 3 years is a very long time because 24 hours is already a long time on its own. So I was 3 years ahead of her in thinking. So I put up a condition on my post. I was like, I only need this and this age limit. Yeah. So I'll give these two housemates names. The good housemate, I'm gonna call her Ashley, and the in the housemaid sent from here, I'm gonna call her Abaddon. Ashley managed to move in, but we couldn't find a third person because the two first girls blew us off. And then I was just like, Ashley, I don't think we're gonna find a third person. And I was happy about it. Like I was relieved. I was like, yo, we don't need a third person in here. So she was like, okay, fine. I guess I'll need to make some changes. But maybe along the way, if we find someone, we should let her in. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I think it was a day later or after a day, since I had found a housemate, I was like, there's no point of leaving the post online. So I went and deleted the post. Then someone calls me and she's like, I saw your post. So I was like, how did this person see my post when I already deleted it? So I thought maybe, oh, she kept the number, and maybe she kept the number before I deleted the post. So this person calls me and she's like, I saw you're looking for a housemate. And I was like, yeah, I am looking for a housemate, but you will have to come, because I was interviewing these people. This time I was interviewing them in person. I was just like, I'm not gonna risk it. So I told her, you have to come home. I have to interview you. So she was like, okay, give me directions and I'm gonna come right away. So this girl comes and I ask her, like, what do you do? And she tells me she works in a restaurant. You know, sometimes it's not really about judging people. It's not that people judge people. Sometimes you just want, to be found with people who are sane and not insane. Because mostly people who live a certain life, they end up just being insane. They just end up being insane. They end up being immature, they're dramatic people, they're violent people, they always want to pick up fights. They're just not ethical. Okay? They don't have morals. That's it. That's the word I will use. They just don't have morals. Okay? So sometimes when, for example, if you want to be friends with someone and they turn you down, please be understanding, because we're just two different people and our morals and values just don't correspond with each other. So I would rather hang out with someone who I have a common ground with, who our morals and values correlate, you get, because so this girl actually lies to me, okay? She tells me I work in a restaurant. So I didn't want to judge, because a restaurant, you would hold many positions. Maybe I am a manager, okay? Maybe I am a waitress. I wouldn't judge. There are some people, I'm not saying all people like who work in certain places, or people who, I don't know what word I can use, are usually like not morally upright. That's not what I'm saying. Sometimes it's just life. Like life is difficult, so you end up working somewhere where you didn't even want to work. Because I've worked somewhere before. I once worked as a waitress, although I only worked for a day, and my guardian told me you have to stop. Yeah, so this girl lies to me. So I ask her, what position do you hold in that restaurant? She described her roles, and I asked her to say, oh, so you're a cashier and a server, and she was like, yes. Like, let me not judge. Life is hard out here. Me myself, I'm looking for a job and I haven't yet found a job, so I didn't want to judge. And I asked her, like, why are you living alone? I have to ask, like, why are you living alone? Why are you not living with your, maybe your guardians or something? I explained to her why I was living alone. I told her, yo, man, I started working a long time ago. And I told her my age and all that. And she's like, I actually used to live in another town. I don't live in Lusaka. So my relatives are in Lusaka, and I found work here. And I'm like, oh, so she found work here as a cashier and a waitress all the way here in Lusaka. Anyway, I was like, let me not judge. I asked her why she lives. She said it. And I asked her the last question, how old are you? And this person tells me I'm 23. And I'm like, 23? Did you see the conditions that I had put? I'm looking for someone who's the same age as me or older. And she was like, please, I'm begging you, I need a place to stay. She told me the difficulty she's having with her landlady. So me being the nice person, I was like, because I didn't want to be, remember I told you, even if I just had one housemate, because at first, before the Zimbabwean lady moved out, we were just the two of us and I was managing to pay. Okay, so I wasn't desperate for a third person, and I didn't want to risk it just because we needed a third person. No, it was out of my kindness, honestly speaking, because this person told me, no, I'm having these challenges, blah 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 blah, please, I need a place to stay. If I find somewhere else, I will go. And I was like, okay, fine. But she was 23, and I was like, 23, okay. So we accepted her, although Ashley was at work, I was home. So I just told her about it, like, yo, we found a housemate, she's paid. That was a mistake. So actually, this girl, she lied about her occupation. She wasn't even working at a restaurant, she was actually working at a club. Because when we started living together, it's like she forgot what she had told me, and she actually started opening up. And she was work. I'm not saying it's a bad thing like to work at the club, but the thing she was describing to me, like, this girl looks well behaved, so I'm not gonna judge. Not until this girl actually showed who she really is, and that's when I started regretting. So what started happening is this. Okay, this girl used to work night shift, which I didn't mind. It was okay. Like, we always used to open for her when the gate is locked. She would come at 0 at 0 at, would open the gate for her, would open the door for her. At some point, we even actually discussed to say, let's just get a lock while we all have keys so that you can be opening for yourself. You see, we put her in our thoughts. We were thinking about her, and we gave her a key to the door so that she can be opening for herself. At first, the first move she made is she came to tell me, my friend will be visiting. So like, oh, that's not a problem. Visiting, okay? Not staying. Her friend actually came through, and this girl was staying with us. Secondly, this girl, Abaddon, she never used to buy groceries. Yeah, she did have stuff she could eat maybe for breakfast, but she never had any food she would cook for lunch or supper. And we used to help this girl out. We would give her some meal. we would give her, at some point we gave her some relish, and most of the times she used to get food from work after she knocks off. That's why she used to survive on. I never ever saw her cooking in the house. We used to help this girl. So now this girl brings her friend, and now we are the four of us. And so I talked to Ashley to say, no, this girl is not visiting. This girl has come here to stay, because she actually even came with a very big suitcase. Her friend. I was like, Ashley, we have to tell this girl to let her friend go, because we will not be, already 3 is a crowd, we will not be the 4 of us here. This is too much. Like the house was a 2-bedroom house, but it was a small 2-bedroom house. This is too much. And their behavior, they used to go out like almost every night, and that was before we bought a lock. These people would go out and they would come back late, and they expected us to wake up and open for them. So I talked to this girl. I was like, because the landlord was just like living behind us. I was like, girl, look, in spite of us living on our own, we have the freedom, we can do whatever we want. I explained to you to say our landlord just lives behind. And we also had a neighbor, because it was a semi-detached flat. We had a neighbor. Like, we need to live with standards. In spite of us having freedom, we are grown-ups. Like, you can't be going out all the time, every night. Like, what is the landlord going to conclude? Now I said to connect. I don't know if she was or if she wasn't, but her behavior, this girl was a slay queen. So I talked to her nicely. I was like, and most of the times Ashley wasn't around. That's the badness. So it seemed like I was the one who was, like being the bad person. Like, let's live with standards. Your behavior is unacceptable. You're always going out, and you guys usually come back drunk and you're making noise. Please tone it down a bit. Maybe you can be going out once in a while, not every day. Like, what is the landlord going to think? When he think I lived there for a year, and I used to go out, but it was rare. Maybe it was once in every, I don't know how many months. And the landlord didn't know me like that. So I was like, guys. Okay, her friend also started going out like a lot, and she would come back late. And I was like, this behavior from your friend, I don't like it. Like, I need your friend to leave. Like, doesn't she have somewhere to live? Because she's literally living here. She's not visiting anymore. The visit is overdue. I opened up with her and I told her. So I talked to her, and I thought I was talking to a sensible person, but she actually got upset and she started plotting stuff. So this girl now got upset. Her friend left, and she comes, she tells me my mom and my cousin are coming to live with us. And I'm like, and she was like, my mom usually drinks just like me. And I'm like, that is not your mother. That's not your mother. Because there is no way. She said her mom used to live in another town. The town, it's like 7 hours away. Not like, it wasn't close. It was like 7 hours away. There's no way your mother can leave her home and she should come and live with us, because she'll live with us for a month maybe, or 2. I'm like, with your cousin, then we'll be the 5 of us. And this girl never even used to buy food. This time Ashley was around, we were like, yo, people can visit, but that's too long. The period you're mentioning is too long. And how are we going to be, this house is small, how are we going to be living, how are we going to be eating, how are we going to be getting more food to accommodate your people? And she was like, I will bring in food. We're like, you never ever bring food. But this girl now gets upset, and the same mom she was talking about wasn't even her mother. And we're like, your mother drinking with you? Okay, maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe it was her mother, but I don't know, guys. So she gets upset and she starts plotting stuff, which I didn't even know about. So I actually even got a job somewhere, although it wasn't paying well, but I just took it up. My first day of work, I woke up early, I prepared. When I was about to step out, this girl comes and she's like, I'm leaving and I need my money. And this girl, guys, I don't know if you've ever met a person who pretends to be someone that not. This girl, when she came, she looks like she was a humble person. Like she was just well behaved and she was humble. And she showed me a very different side which shocked me. Like she just came and she was like, I'm moving out and I need my money right now. And I was like, where is this coming from? You heard me, I need my money and I'm moving out right now. And I was like, yo, I'm going to work. Like, can we talk about this when I knock off from work? So Ashley wasn't home, she was somewhere. I actually told her about it and she was like, what's going on with that girl? Okay, I don't even know how to explain or narrate this story, guys, but you had to be there to understand. Maybe I'm even saying it nicely and it sounds like there was actually nothing serious happening, but it was bad. I went to work and I go back home after I knocked off and I was like, can you at least wait until your rental expires, then you can move? She was like, I want my money, I want to move. If you won't give me, I'm gonna tell the landlord that you're living with people here. And I was like, the landlord is aware. And she was like, I'm gonna tell him to say we are not your cousins. And I was like, God, where is this demon coming from? Where has this demon been sent? Where is it coming from? I'm like, how terrible can someone be? She was like, I'm gonna tell the landlord if you don't refund me. So I told Ashley about it and I was like, yo, she's gonna ruin this for us. And the thing is, like, it's like she kept on building hate because I mostly used to hang out with Ashley and not I also used to hang out with her, honestly, but it was like each time I was with Ashley she became so jealous. And I don't know, I never thought she started building up. I don't know if she thought maybe we were against her or something. I have no idea. But yeah, she showed me a very different side of her. Hey, Jesus. So me and Ashley discussed and we were like, let's just refund her. So we found some money and we were so broke. Like I had to actually borrow money from a friend and Ashley also like got some money from somewhere and we gave her the money and she was like, this is actually, she was being very dramatic. That's what I'm saying. As I'm narrating this story, it sounds so nice, but guys, I thought I was talking to a demon, honestly speaking. The way she was reacting, she was being dramatic, she was being loud. Oh my god. I like to shut this girl up. So we also told her to say, we also want you to move out today. So we told her, you need to move out today because we can't deal with you. You're too much. So that's how come we refunded this girl and she moved out this very same night. She actually came with her cousins, and her cousins anyway, they weren't being as dramatic as she was. They were understanding or they were just pretending. I have no idea, but they weren't reacting in any bad way, like coming with all the noise. It was just her, this Abaddon girl. So this Abaddon girl moves out and me and Ashley were so relieved. We're like, huh, you know when you're like exhausted and you just want to get home and rest. Then you just get home and you sit and you're like, oh, thank God I'm home. Like I'm exhausted. We were relieved. The relief, guys. We're like, who? I even told Ashley, I'm like, Ashley, we got rid of a demon. Oh my God. Like I'm glad we're just the two of us. Like we even discussed to say we're not gonna bring a third person, we'll just be the two of us. We thought we got rid of this girl and we thought, yo, we dodged a bomb, not even a bullet. We dodged a bomb and oh, we're all good. Not knowing what was coming. So the next day, this Abaddon girl, she calls the landlord and she tells him everything. Like that girl, she advertised your house and she brought us in your house and she was charging us more. Like she made it sound like I was, like charging them more than the rental, keeping some for myself and giving the rest to the landlord. She's been charging us and she's saying we're her cousins, but we are not. So remember, this was a two-bedroom house. Ashley actually took up the sitting room as her room, and she was like, "There's another girl living in the living room." She told him everything we used to talk about, because I also told her about the Zimbabwean lady I used to live with. She was like, even the Zimbabwean lady that was living with her, that's not her cousin. Oh my god! I was at work, and then the landlord calls me and he's like, "I need you to move out uh, by the end of next month." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And he tells me everything. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm at work. Can we please talk when we get home?" And he was like, "There's nothing we need to talk about." Okay, on that part, I know I was wrong. But I actually informed the landlord that people were coming to stay with me, except I only said they were my cousins. Yes, that I know. And then the way she made it sound to say I advertised his property, she actually told him to say I took pictures of the house, which I didn't. I actually just typed to say I needed a housemate and I put my contact details there. But she exaggerated it. She was like, she took pictures and she put them online. So the landlord got upset because he was like, "You have no right to advertise my property." That one, yeah, I know I was wrong. Yeah, but the rest of the stuff, oh my god. I just started thinking now, like, God, what is this? Like, what have I done? What did I do to this girl? Like, we were nice to this girl. We used to give her food, and here she is turning on us. We helped that girl in a lot of ways. Trust me. There were times when she would get depressed and she was like, she's gonna kill herself. We were there, guys, comforting this girl, advising the girl. But the girl was just the demon. She wasn't someone you could reason with. She wasn't someone that could listen to your advice. So we thought about that and we were like, this girl is ungrateful. Like, we helped her, even helping her to live in the house because she begged us to say, "I need someone to stay," and we helped her. She wasn't thinking of all that. And she actually started accusing us to say no. She told the landlord to say, we stole her clothes. Me and Ashley, we stole her food. I was like, what the hell? We stole her food. Wow. And then when she was moving that night, she actually left her laptop deliberately. She left it by our neighbor's place. And she actually started threatening us, sending us messages to say, "I'm taking you to the police. You stole my laptop." And I was like, this girl is crazy. Like, you stole my things. I'm taking you to the police. Now, the goodness is Ashley was actually working for a court. If it wasn't for Ashley, guys, I don't know, because you know how police people are. Maybe they would have believed her over me, even when me and Ashley didn't even do anything. Ashley used to work for a court, and that's how we survived this demon. So Ashley was like, "No, actually, I'll take you to the police where I work at my workplace, because the court has a police department. I'm going to take you there so that you provide the evidence where Kat and I stole your food, your clothes, and your laptop." So actually, our neighbor's son found this girl's laptop and he brought it, and I was like, "I found the laptop here," and I was like, this girl is crazy. So she actually left her laptop deliberately so that she could accuse us, so that the police could find it in the yard and say we stole her laptop. So that's how come Ashley got the laptop and she took it to her workplace, at the court, at the police department. And that's how come this girl Abaddon was called to the same police place where Ashley used to work, at the court. I wasn't there because I was at work, but Ashley told me this girl came through and she was interrogated by the police to say, "Why are you accusing this person? We know this person works here. How can she steal your laptop? Because she can actually even buy you this laptop that you're whining about." And that's how come this girl broke down. I was told this girl broke down, like she was no longer, the person she was before. She actually got humbled and she broke down, and she said, "I actually thought they did, but now I see that they didn't. I think it's the neighbor's son that stole all these things that I'm talking about." That girl, that girl gave me stress. She gave me BP. Ish, God, I'm just glad. that actually helped out on this part, because this girl was taken to the police and the police helped us. So this girl was given a restraining order because she was threatening me and Ashley to say you don't know me and you're gonna know me, and she was just crazy. I think she was a psychopath, honestly speaking, and I was scared for myself because she knew where we lived, she knew the routes we used to use. So I was just like, what if this girl like has people to kill me and Ashley or to attack us or something like that? I was scared. Like I was scared. I'm like, this girl is a psycho. She's gonna do something bad to me. So I'm just glad that Ashley saved us. So this girl, Abaddon, was given a restraining order and she was warned, we should never ever hear you contacting these people. You shouldn't even cross paths because if you do, we'll arrest you. And that's how come this girl was humbled, guys. I've actually even narrated this story in the nicest way, because if you are living it, you would have felt it. So that's how come that's how come Ashley's workplace saved me and her. And yeah, for real, we got rid of her. But the other problem we had is the landlord asked us to leave, and we asked to talk to him, but he didn't want to listen to any of us. Yeah, so we just decided to leave. The last housemate that I had, my goodness, it was a woman older than me. Should be close to 60, or she was in her 50s, or she was already 60. What happened is I got relocated to another town, and like I said, accommodation is hard to find. So the only house I could manage to find is where there was a woman who was renting out one of her bedrooms, and I decided to go there. And I was like, I don't think we'll have any problems because she's old, and maybe she'll just be minding her own business. And guys, when I went to pay the rentals, this woman was like, I'm not a difficult person. I actually studied the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm always reading the Bible. You won't have any problems with me. I won't even be in your business. We'll just be living here peacefully. Oh, guys, I moved there. We're just living well, for real. The first days, her grandchildren even came to stay over, and I became close with them. As the days went by, this old woman just started finding, faults where there are no faults. Like she started saying, you're finishing electricity. There was a time when she told me I couldn't bath today because I heard you blowing your nose in the bathroom. I was like, wow. I wasn't even like mean to this person. Like when she says something to me, I was just like, oh, sorry, I'll never blow my nose in the bathroom again. And usually when I wanted to blow my nose, usually like when you're bathing, especially when you're bathing cold water, your nostrils end up getting loosened up and then you have a runny nose, right? When you're bathing. I normally do is when I blow my nose, I'll use my handkerchief, then I'll wash it right away in the bathroom. So now what I used to do is I would blow my nose in the bedroom, and then I would go outside, fish some water outside in a bucket and wash my handkerchief. So she was like, I couldn't bath that day. So I was like, anyway, that's understandable because even me, I'm a germaphobe, trust me. And I just, sometimes I fail to do something, especially if you're living with a dirty person. Sometimes I fail to do something because I'm just like that, germs there, like this person has left germs. So I understood her for that one. I didn't really get offended. I understood her, like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like I even apologized, like I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. And then she just started finding other faults now that weren't making sense. Like you're always working from home, because by then the office wasn't ready. Like you're always working from home. You're finishing electricity, and then when it was time to buy, because she didn't buy enough electricity units, the electricity finished, and she was like, the last girl that used to live here, she was kinder than you. Like she used to buy electricity, but you don't want to buy. And I was like, lady, because when paying the rentals, she told me I have to pay a certain amount, and in that amount, that's why electricity and water was as well. I was like, lady, I already paid the rentals, so why didn't you buy enough electricity? This time I got upset about it. I was like, hell no. So I told her to say, oh, she told me like I'm bad-hearted. And I was like, this woman never used to eat. Usually when she eats, it's just eating breakfast. So sometimes I used to feel bad for her. So there was a time, especially there was a time when her grandchildren were over, and I was like, these kids are young, guys. So I gave them some polony when I was having breakfast and some bread. Some other time I gave them relish. I think on 3 occasions I gave her relish. And I told her to say, me, I'm a very peaceful person. You've never had any problems with me ever since I started living with you. I don't drink. You don't see me going out. If I'm going out, then I'm going to get something, maybe groceries. I do buy you food. I'm never giving you any problems. You've never seen me being dramatic, picking up fights with you. I've respected you so much. But here you are saying I'm got a bad heart, right? So I'm kind of asking if you can refund me so that I can move to another place. That's what I told her, and that's how I moved out. But before that, I feel like this woman, honestly, if she wasn't a witch, but someone who handles charms is a witch. Because why are you handling charms? I'll just say she was a witch. Honestly speaking, this woman was a witch. She used to tell me stories of when she was young. Like, I was very young and beautiful and very light and very sexy, just like you. She would tell me stories, and I used, if you want, because she asked me, are you dating? By then I wasn't dating, but once I was still living with her, I actually started dating someone. So she was like, are you dating? And I was like, no, I'm not. And she was like, if you want to get whichever man you want, just tell me. I'll give you something so that you can use it. And I made it very clear to her. Me, I'm not the kind of person who will please you because I want you to like me. I want us to remain friends, or I want us to remain in good books. I'm not that kind of person. If I want to tell you off, I'll tell you off. I told her, actually, ma'am, I don't resort to such things. I believe in the Bible. And she was like, I also believe in the Bible. It's not even charms. It's just something to help you. I'm like, something to help you? Those are charms, man. That woman, guys, used to do charms. She would tell me, no, I used to bath. I'll show you. I'm like, no, don't even show me. So I started distancing myself from her because I was like, and I said being very prayerful because I was like, what if, like this woman puts something, because I usually used to leave some of my things in the kitchen and I just stopped. I was like, what if this woman puts something in my food or in my water or in my utensils? I started praying very hard. I was like, maybe I'm living with a witch. And I think I was, honestly speaking, I was. Because the way she started getting bothered after some time, even though I wasn't doing anything, it just showed that she wanted me out of there. And you might find that maybe my prayers or my presence, it was just bothering her, and it was also, like disturbing whatever she was doing. So I told her I actually don't use charms, and I would never, no matter my situation. I told her that. And I actually advised her also to say, since you do read the Bible, why are you turning to these things? It wasn't even true what she said, actually, that she reads the Bible. I never ever saw her reading the Bible. I never ever saw her going to church. I never ever... She was just a witch, guys. So that was my last housemate, but only because I moved to a new town for my work and I needed accommodation. I didn't want to be stuck. So that was my last housemate, and from there I vowed to say I'll never ever have a housemate. And that's the housemates sent from hell, guys. The rest of the housemates that I lived with were very good people, especially Ashley. Because I remember I was looking for work and sometimes I didn't have food, and Ashley used to give me food. Yeah, so that's the housemate from hell story, guys. Oh, and from there I vowed I will never ever have housemates. Like I said from the start, like you can have plans of your own, like I'll be living alone, but things are getting expensive, life is hard. You would end up just, finding someone to share a house with so that you can have less expenses on yourself. But I just vowed after that incident, I was like, yo, I'm never gonna have a housemate ever again. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time on the next story time with Guitar. Bye.